Welcome back, all you school nerds, and I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I will show you how to set up the perfect planning folder for English in McGraw-Hill's connected digital teaching and learning platform. McGraw-Hill has some fantastic online resources. However, most of the planning resources need to be downloaded. So let's get straight into it. If you have not yet set up your McGraw-Hill Wonders account, please go ahead and click the link above and come back once you are ready. Now, we all know planning can be extremely stressful, especially for new teachers joining your team. I find it quite useful to have one planning folder per grade so that all teachers have their planning resources in one location. This not only alleviates the stress, but also ensures that all team members are on the exact same page. So, to do this, I've put together a planning folder structure. We have our main folder, and within that folder we have documents, as well as other folders, and within those folders we have more documents. Okay, I will put the link to this Word document in the chat below or in the description below. You can go ahead and download that if you would like to look at that. But let's go ahead and start to create this planning folder. So first thing is create a folder, whether it's on your hard drive or your external. I've named the folder Wonders Resources. Now we're going to add our first document to that folder, and that is our instructional handbook. To do that, go across to your connected platform and your Teacher's Edition Wonders English book. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the search button up above, and we are going to type in handbook. And there we have the instructional routines handbook. We're going to click download, open this resource, and it will automatically download. Now, when Wonders documents download, they download as simply numbers. So you're going to have to go ahead and rename that document. So I'm going to just copy the name. I should probably change that to routines. Copy that name. I'm going to drag it across into my folder and rename it. There you go. So we've now just added our first document. Now, in a later video, I will go through each of these documents and explain its importance and in detail as to what you need them for. But just to give you a brief understanding, the instructional handbook gives you strategies, teaching strategies for everything from reading to collaborative conversations to writing and grammar. Right? So in a later stage, when you are planning and you need a strategy or you want to know how to teach a specific lesson, you will come and use your instructional routines handbook to get some information on that. Awesome. So let's head straight to our next download, which is our pacing guide. Once again, we go up to the search bar, type pacing guide, hit enter, and we see the suggested lesson plans and pacing guides. We're going to once again go there. You can also just click on it itself and it'll download. Let's hit across. Once again, I use a numbering. I add a number in front of every document to ensure that my documents stay in the correct order. Let's have a look at the pacing guide. The pacing guide shows you how to set up or how to pace your lessons. You'll have an example of suggested 120-minute pacing guide. That's if you're teaching 2 hours of English a day. There's also a 60-minute, 90-minute pacing guide to show you how exactly to pace your lessons according to the amount of time you are teaching English. It'll show you exactly 10 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that, 15 minutes of that, etc. Right? So we'll go into detail with that document in a later video. But for now, let's go ahead and find our next document, which is our scope and sequence. Now, I've added an asterisk next to the scope and sequence because you can add your scope and sequence in the main folder, or you can break it up, break the actual document up and add it into each unit folder. But for now, let's go ahead and add it into the main folder. I will do both just to show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so here we have our scope and sequence document. It's this yellow and red one. Let's go ahead and download that. Now, just to explain, as you can see, when I click on these documents, they download. When I click on something like this, it opens up and it's an online resource. So that's what I meant earlier when I said McGraw-hill resources are great online, but the planning ones are only available as downloads. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that planning document. Let's bring it over. Let's number it and name it. There we go. Now, that is it, I think, for our main folder. Now we're going to create a new folder called Unit 1 and 2. Create a new folder called Unit 1 and 2. And we're going to enter that unit, that folder. Okay, so let's go and find our next document. The next document is the Reading and Writing Companion. Now this is the textbook the students will be using. However, the annotated version, which is the one we are looking for, is the teacher's version, the one that has the answers. So as we can see, we have an annotated version and we have a normal version. If I clicked the normal version, it would open up as an online resource because that is the student's textbook. If I click on the annotated version, it'll download. There we go, it downloads. Now, be sure to check which unit it is. So we've got unit 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. They're a bit out of order. And make sure that you've selected the annotated version. Okay, let's head to that document. I'm going to name that 001 and Reading and Writing Companion. I'll go ahead and name that annotated version. Perfect. Okay. While I'm here, let's just have a quick look at that. So the annotated version would have the answers in these questions, or at least examples of answers or sample answers on each page of the textbook, where the student's version will not. Awesome. Let's go ahead and continue. So now that we've added our Reading and Writing Companion, the reason the Reading and Writing Companion is at the top and not inside a folder is because the way McGraw-hill has set up their Reading and Writing Companions is it covers 2 units at a time. So Unit 1 and 2 goes in there. We're going to go ahead and create a separate folder for Unit 1. So 002 Unit 1. There we go. And we're going to enter that folder. Now everything that goes in here would be Unit 1 related. So as you see, I started with the scope and sequence as well as putting it there. I prefer to have my scope and sequence inside each of my units so that when I open this Unit 1 folder, I'll be working inside this folder and not having to jump up and down. To do that, what I do is I open the scope and sequence folder. And obviously, depending on what device you're working on, you would have to find the right software to cut these up. So what I would do is I select Unit 1, which is the first 2 pages. I copy them and I open it in a new document, and then I go ahead and name that new document Scope and Sequence Unit 1. And I will move that. For now, I'm going to move that into my downloads so that I can copy that from there. There we go. Okay, and I'll drag it across. The last thing I would suggest to do when you're dealing with scope and sequence, and I will go through this in a later stage, is go to your view bar and view it if you as a 2-page view. If you have a device that allows you to do that. You also might want to copy the first page because normally they show a 2-page view with the first page being single and every page after that being double. So there we go. We can see that the scope and sequence is a document that shows you exactly what to teach. So this is Unit 1. It says, what's the genre focus? What are read aloud resources, shared resources, etc.? What are we doing for vocabulary? What are we doing for comprehension, phonics, fluency, writing and grammar, research and inquiry? So it breaks the entire unit down, and for each unit, the entire genre study. So within each unit, there are 3 genre studies, 1, 2, and 3, and within that, what are all the resources we will be using? So it is, you could call this a unit plan, or a yeah, I guess a unit plan would be the best way to describe this. Okay, so I break them up into per unit instead of having the whole scope and sequence for all units. And that is my first document in my Unit 1 folder. My next document is my genre study folder. Now, as I've explained earlier, there are 3 genre studies in each unit. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll say 002 genre study 1. I would then go ahead and say 003 genre study 2 and 004 genre study 3. Right? So those 3 folders will all be in this main section. But let's start with genre study 1, and let's fill it with the documents needed for genre study 1. So as you can see, we have an outline, lesson plan, and a lesson outline. So these 3 documents are all from one document, and that is the genre study document. So for the genre study, we're going to come across to Wonders, and we're going to type in genre study, there we go, and search. Now, to find the genre study isn't as easy as the others. So what you're going to do is you're going to come across to Teachers Resources. You're going to click on that, and there we have our genre studies. And we are looking for Unit 1, Genre Study 1. So that's 2. Let's go to the next page. 1. There we go. We have Teachers Edition, Unit 1, Genre Study 1. We're going to click on that and it will download. Perfect. So now we're going to head over and find that document and bring it in over there. Now once again, for this document, for the ease of using this document rather, you want to divide the document up into 3 sections: overview, lesson plan, and lesson outline. So let's have a look at how we can do that. So first I'm going to go ahead and open this document. If you do not know how to divide a PDF up into different sections, you can just go ahead and save this document as a whole document. So I'm going to click View, Thumbnails, and everything from page 1 all the way down to page T15. These are all overview stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new document from there. And as you can see, it's talking about what the genre is, key features of the genre. It goes ahead and shows you all the type of resources you will find in the genre. It pretty much gives you an overview of everything you need to know, including student outcomes, books you'd need, sections of the textbook you'll need to use. All of this is available, but it's an overview, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this as 001 overview. Awesome. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to T16, and this is where the lesson plan section starts. So it'll show you day 1, and it'll show you everything you need to cover in that lesson plan. These are the core sections, stuff that are important to cover, and these are your optional sections. It also shows you the small group instruction, and it divides it into approaching level students as well as on-level students. So it gives you a clear understanding of what to teach on day 1 and day 2. It goes on to day 3 and 4 and 5, etc., etc. So these are pretty much your lesson plans. Now I know, looking at it, it gives you a heading and a T number. Don't worry about that. I will show you in our next section what this refers to. Okay, so let's take our lesson plan and let's go all the way down to where the lesson plan ends, which is T19 in my case. Note that these would be different pages depending on where the lesson plan ends. You will clearly see the difference between the last page, which would be the last day, and the next page, which would be more of a lesson outline. Okay, so let's go ahead and select the lesson plan section and open it. .002, and that is lesson plan. And save that one. And then our last section is the lesson outline section. So that goes from, in my case, T20, which is immediately after the lesson plan. And we're going to scroll all the way down to the very end of the document. And create a new document from that. 003 lesson outline. Awesome. So now I'll head back to, I should have actually just left that one, and I can take these 3 documents and send them into my genre study 1. And now I've got my overview, my lesson plan, my lesson outline, all in separate documents. So I can use them more effectively this way. Once again, if you can't do this, just use it as one whole document. However, in a later video when I go through this document, you will see why it's important, or why it makes it easier to have them in separate documents. Awesome. The last document we are downloading is the Workstation activity cards, which is a wonderful resource to have. And we'll see why a bit later. Workstation activity cards. We'll search that. And did I hit search? Nope. And what we want to do for this one is we want to go to Unit 1, Workstation activity cards, and we'll search that again. And there we have it. So Unit 1, Genre Study 1, Workstation activity cards. There we have it. We'll drag that across. 004 Workstation activity cards. There we go. And that is it. I'm going to go ahead and select all of these documents in my downloaded folder and just delete them so that I don't have clutter. These Workstation activity cards are perfect for group work, but also for other larger tasks in the class. It covers everything from reading to writing activities to fluency and grammar activities. If we look back at this first card, we can see this is a 20-minute reading activity to do in a group. You can hand this card out to a student, or you can just show the card on the board and the students will know exactly what to do. Okay, so what we've just done, if I go back a step to our main folder, our Wonders resource, we've got our Instructional Routines Handbook, our Pacing Guide, our Scope and Sequence. Within that, we've got our Unit 1 and 2. Of course, we will have Unit 3 and 4, 5 and 6 down here as well at a later stage. Unit 1 and 2. In that unit, we've got our Reading and Writing Companion, which is the textbook for Unit 1 and 2. Then we've got a Unit 1 specific file, and in that file we have our Scope and Sequence for Unit 1. And then we have our Genre Study 1, in which we have our Overview, Lesson Plan, Lesson Outline, and then Workstation. The next step would obviously be to create your folder for 003 Genre Study 2, and then do the same thing that you've done inside that folder within the new genre study. You'll then take a step back. You'll do the same thing for Unit 2. So you'll go 003 Unit 2, and then within that folder, you'll create a duplicate of what you have in folder 1 or Unit 1, obviously with Unit 2 specific materials. You'll then go back and then you'll create your 005 Unit 3 and 4, and then you'd pretty much create a duplicate of the entire folder in here, but obviously with Unit 3 and 4 specific content. You'd do the same for Unit 5 and 6. So that is all about creating the perfect planning folder. In the next video, I will show you how to use each document. If you found this video helpful and want to see more like this, please remember to subscribe so that you are notified the next time we upload a new video.